Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Today's webinar is What's New with Liquidware. I'm Kristen McGargle, Senior Marketing Manager with Liquidware. And if you have any questions today, please place them in the Q&A window, and we will be happy to address those as time allows. Today we have Jason E. Smith, VP Alliances and Product Marketing with Liquidware. We have James O'Regan, Product Marketing Manager with Liquidware, and Chris Walker, Senior Solutions Architect and Stratusphere UX Expert with Liquidware. Jason, you want to kick us off today?
Yes, thanks, Kristen. So it's a great time of year. We try to do these updates every 6 months, and we're always even surprised ourselves when we start to go and review everything that has changed even in 6 months with Liquidware. We're going to go through each of our 4 products, and now we have 4. The last time we had 3, the last time we did this. And we're going to share with you what's new. We're also going to share with you the innovations that we've had. It reminds you why you chose Liquidware in the first place and the leadership that we have in this industry. As we do that, I always recap, what these solutions are, and you see a similar slide to this. Well, one of the things you'll notice that we're going to be talking about is, we innovated in the area of DEX. Before it was called DEX, we had Stratusphere UX, and Stratusphere UX stands for user experience, monitors and optimizes your DEX really with digital monitoring and by boosting the experience by optimizing RAM and CPU automatically in the background. So that's where we really innovated in the area of DEX. And then within that same first year in 2009, Liquidware brought on ProfileUnity, and it manages DEX. So this is a new way of you hearing us describe our solutions in the context of DEX, but we do more things across the digital employee experience than any other single vendor, if you think about it. ProfileUnity really manages DEX efficiently, and it does that through full user environment management and application management. It doesn't get much more employee experience than your user profile and your experience following you from desktop to desktop in a context-aware way, delivering applications in that way as well. We deliver an excellent DEX experience through the applications that we provide through FlexApp. Portable and attached applications, has a very high compatibility rate, much higher than MSIX alone, and they're easy to manage. And we introduced this year a new solution called CommandCTRL, which controls DEX, and it does that with powerful and innovative features in real-time remediation. Lets you, as an administrator, reach out and touch someone with a desktop to help get their digital experience going again, or to fine-tune it to give them optimal performance. Our solutions work across virtual cloud and physical. Don't forget, we work across physical. Even the way that we deliver our applications, you can do that with FlexApp, even in a physical environment. So I'm going to shift into...
Actually, Jason, go back to that slide one. I just want to point out something. I get this question a lot from our customers. You mean to tell me you have 2 different monitoring solutions? Yes, we do. But they really do 2 different things. When you look at what Stratusphere has done for close to 15 years now as a holistic, show me every single thing you can about that user, down to the USB ports, the CPU temperature, all that stuff, and then CommandCTRL, which is a command and control product, they really have 2 different feature sets. But think about on the help desk, I call up and I'm talking to Jason. Jason is looking at my machine, real-time control, PowerShell scripts, all that stuff. And then at the end of the day, James would then look at my tickets and then go into Stratusphere and see how many other people are having that problem across the globe with detailed analysis inside of Stratusphere. So there are 2 different use cases in the products. So, but yeah, I get that question all the time. You mean to tell me
they're highly complementary of each other.
Yep,
you can reach out and touch someone with the real-time remediation, and you get that almost real-time historical view that's unparalleled in the industry with Stratusphere.
Yep, just wanted to bring up that point. Thanks.
Hey, that also reminds me, we have a poll question just about how diverse the diverse areas that we serve in the industries. Don't we have a poll question on that we can pop up, Chris?
Yep, there it is. So what industry are you from? Healthcare, legal, financial, federal, other? If we get, Kristen can watch the results.
Yes, we've got Let's see, almost more than half the people have voted. We'll just give it a little bit more if you wouldn't mind voting. We have healthcare, legal, financial, federal, or other. You guys are doing a great job. 73% have voted.
Awesome.
And I think we'll close and share results. Let's
Healthcare, a lot
see.
of financial, health care. It's all across the board, so that's good. That's good. Even some of our federal customers are here. Welcome.
Wonderful.
All three of those are compliance laden, and you'll see some features in here that we have implemented in our solutions lately that will really help you in that area. Great, thanks for participating in that. I'm going to shift into the ProfileUnity and FlexApp updates now. We like to tell you what's new in the last 2 versions at least of every one of our solutions. Well, that won't happen with CommandCTRL because it's net new, but with the others, we will tell you that. So this is what the interface looks like now. 6.8.6, you'll see up in the corner is the current version number. So if you don't have that version number, you'll have an update pending under that admin area, which is over in the other corner, and you can go over there and you can update, not that update button there, but under admin, you'll have an area where you can update your management console, and it will also help you roll out the new agents to the desktop, the ProfileUnity and FlexApp client. So you'll see some new icons in here. If you've not updated your version to the latest version, that's because we keep adding things and innovating as we go. And I've got, if you've seen the slide before, it's a little different because I've got blue shaded and green shaded. The blue shaded were a lot of the things that we already did and most popular user environment features, those that you'll probably be familiar with all of those. But if you look at the green shaded ones, there's some new icons here that really start to put us in the area of application management, and it can go beyond even Microsoft Intune. We're compatible with Intune, with FlexApp and other things, but if you want to go beyond it and apply application settings and deploy them on finely tuned context-aware settings that follow that user no matter where they go, and then manage their profile from all one solution here, that's what you can do now with ProfileUnity. Some of the new icons that have popped up in here, up in the right corner, MSIX apps and AppV apps. Now, I want to be very clear in here. This is taking their native format of those types of apps and deploying those. So you don't lose any functionality, any isolation. This has not anything necessarily to do with FlexApp right here in changing those formats. No, this is the ProfileUnity core UEM functionality, pushing out those apps to highly aware context settings and being able to cache those down to endpoints so they can run offline and other functionality there for those two. The other ones that are shaded in green, some of those were long-standing, but they've been updated as well, such as application restrictions now has full cloaking under it as well. Privilege elevation was already there. That helps you with managing applications. We help manage app stream applications in Amazon environments. You can do all these things on trigger points. We already had FinApp in here. So just about every popular application format we support directly with deploying apps here now on a highly aware context setting. And you can even control how those files react to the endpoint, which file associations are in order. That was already in there, but that stresses to you how we're now as much application management as we are user environment management with ProfileUnity. And another reason that you may choose us because you need those solutions to help your digital workspaces run smoother. Now, this Q4 update with ProfileUnity, I want to remind you of some of the ways that we are leading in the industry other than the features you'll see on the coming slides. And that is that we still have an OEM in place with Vision Frame. If you choose their profile disk features there, you check a box, and that's actually leveraging ProfileUnity in there. HP Anywhere has evaluated us and chosen us as a recommended solution lately for ProfileUnity, the full UEM stack for their deployments. And then we continue to lead in any and all deployments of physical, virtual, and cloud. That is to work across all those. It's one solution that supports all those. Now, you may ask me, how's this different than what Citrix offers in this area or VMware offers in this area? Well, we support all your Windows desktops. User logs off of any of them, anywhere, and they can log on to any of them anywhere of the other type of desktop, VDI, DAS, physical, and their user experience follows them among those, and you manage with one pane of glass. Big advantage of doing that. The uncertainty in the market with what's been going on with Broadcom and the other things, and a lot of organizations don't know where they're going to be in 6 months to a year with their digital workspace platforms. If you're managing those separately with ProfileUnity, you're already good to go. The user experience is going to follow that user. They're going to have an excellent DEX as soon as they log on whatever desktop that you give them. AVD, maybe Amazon Workspaces, it doesn't matter. We support all those. The largest deployments there are that we have, also many of them choose Microsoft FS Logics because the way it handles profile on disk. Now we also have profile on disk, so you could choose ours instead, but we're highly compatible with FS Logics. We can back up that profile and hive it, so when that FS Logics profile becomes corrupt, you can restore it, you can even roll it back to up to as many of 100 of the last types of profiles that that user's experienced, but in all likelihood, one of the last ones that they've logged off from. So we provide disaster recovery and business continuity for FS Logics, and then give you all those UEM features that you have come to expect from our solution. FlexApp likewise has continued to lead because of the innovation. You'll see that in the coming slides of some big things that we've added in the last couple of versions. And you're seeing innovation out of us that you don't see out of the other competitive market solutions in the marketplace. The innovation that we've had with FlexApp 1 alone has made us very innovative in that area. Applications that run truly anywhere. We coined that, but by allowing applications to even go offline. That's truly anywhere on any type of Windows desktop. That application will follow them anywhere that they go without adding a lot of infrastructure like you may have to with any other solution on the market. There's many vendors that have lined up to support us in the last year, and we've got several more coming. So Nerdio, full compatibility in that stack when you're going with AVD or Windows 365 and deploying apps. Application readiness, another one coming online soon is Remo 3. Avanti DSM can deploy FlexApps. Chasm is compatible with FlexApp and chooses to deploy their applications with FlexApp to make applications follow the user anywhere and even available through a browser. Liquid can deploy FlexApps. Microsoft Intune can deploy FlexApp ones by simply pointing to an assignment group. And we have other integration coming soon. So watch this space in the next month. And one of them is a fairly large platform that has embraced us even further. So we'd love to tell you about that. Keep an eye on us because we've got some pretty big industry news coming around that. Collaboration with Microsoft AVD and Windows 365 goes back to when it was called RDMI even with FlexApp and with ProfileUnity. And they chose us for the Azure Migrate program, something we were in early on, and we're highly compatible in those environments. And we continue to innovate with multiple new features. So in February of this year, we had a launch, and that was 6.8.5. You'll note we're on 6.8.6, so I'm going to take you through both. This in 6.8.5 made it to where you could also containerize MSIX and AppVs. Now, I showed you earlier the management console for ProfileUnity. You can deploy those in native form. This is something additional to that. You can actually take these and containerize them with FlexApp, and you can deploy them that way. And that is if you want to have all your applications in containers and not tattoo the endpoint at all, even with the MSIX app directory that will make that app work. Usually you don't even have that on the endpoint when you have it in a FlexApp container. Now there may be some need for full isolation where you run something like AppV in its native format and you deploy it through the means that you're used to or through ProfileUnity, and you want to keep it that way for full isolation. But you can also containerize those in FlexApp now. You can roll back the endpoints that are packaging machines based on Microsoft Restore, keeping the endpoint packaging machine pristine, so you keep very high compatibility without any noise going on in your packaging process. And we gave you additional ways to layer, making trigger points in ProfileUnity activate. And so if you open up application A, you may have a trigger point that says also open up automatically another FlexApp and you attach it with a trigger point, something that happens during the user session. And after login, you can also say, bring in these applications after the user's logged in the background. So it increases performance. Predictive block caching was put in there, and now we have caching even further. You'll see on the coming slide, the ability to merge containers after the fact into one container, and then version control, we added fields in there for that. The FlexApp API there that I didn't mention before I switched the slide also has allowed those like application readiness and Remo 3 to integrate with us. So in the we did that through the new modules that came out. So that in ProfileUnity, you saw that in the earlier slide. I've already covered this a little bit in the user interface. The new modules for MSIX, NAPV, cloaking, and we have universal folder and file redirection and fully support Intra ID now. We had a workaround to do that before in Azure Active Directory, now called Intra ID. We fully support it now. All kick scripts have been gone and they're fully replaced with .NET. That happened in 6.8.5. This was a screenshot out of the packaging console where you could import FlexApps and MSIXs. This was 6.8.5. 6.8.6 is what we're moving on to now with ProfileUnity. The session isolation for custom folder redirection made custom folder redirection work seamlessly in RDS type multi-session environments for Windows. The enhanced support for Microsoft Entra ID I mentioned earlier extends to ProfileUnity there in the 6.8.6 version, and we made log-offs 50% faster. That doesn't always matter to a lot of organizations because the log-off, the machine may disappear if it's a VDI machine if you got things set accordingly. But what you see is now if the user has to wait for a log-off, they're much quicker in this version that just shipped last month. In 6.8.6 for FlexApp, this is where a lot of the innovation came in here. If you thought the other list was a little bit short, that's okay, because in the FlexApp side of the house, we had tons of innovation in there. And that is that a traditional FlexApp can now go offline. FlexApp 1s could do that, but regular FlexApps fully cache down to the endpoint now, and they can go offline. So non-plug and play driver support increases our compatibility among applications. Dependent service handling there helps there with compatibility as well. And now if you look at FlexApp 1, what we added in there is I'll remind you about FlexApp 1. It's a container that can be deployed by any means necessary. Doesn't have to have the ProfileUnity infrastructure. It has the driver, the service, the Liquidware container service included in it, so it can launch and run on the endpoint. Everything needed is in one executable, and you can deploy it by any means necessary. So it's a special feature container of FlexApp. So it's an extra little step there that the packaging console does to render this. And these packages can also go offline. We have that now in traditional FlexApp too. You can imagine with these packages going offline or not being connected to the corporate network, you may want additional authentication in there. And this is where I was talking about the compliance-laden industries earlier. We have OAuth support, gives you zero trust security, very easy to integrate with Microsoft Entra ID. And that is one of the leading solutions there to use for zero trust, stuff like two-factor authentication and others. So we're excited about that. I wrote a blog about that, and it was also in the press release that we put out. So those of you that are in the federal government, financial industries, healthcare, especially those that have compliance reasons that you need to have zero trust among your applications even to open them. We have that now with FlexApp 1. We support now applications larger than 4 gigabytes. It was a limit we rarely ran into, but that limitation's now fully gone. And then we had good updates across our automated packaging. You know, FlexApp takes automated packaging to a real seamless process. No one in the industry really touches this end-to-end process. You point to where your installers are. It even works with silent switch instructions if you have those. Maybe you had those for SCCM and others. You can then kick off our process, and you'll have, say, 3 or 4 packaging machines, and they'll start handling those packages, and they'll start going through them. I like to say, leave on a Friday, let this process happen, come back on a Monday, and you can literally have dozens or hundreds of applications that are ready to test, open, close, and test them. Or you can even deploy them from that point forward. They show up in our Liquidware management console as already rendered into a FlexApp, and they're ready to go. That's the FlexApp automated packaging that we love to brag about, but now we've updated it also. Now it also can create a FlexApp 1 package there. We have enhanced compatibility without, in that regard, the number of applications that can run through this automated process untouched are now higher than ever because of the compatibility mode that we've put in this version. Run times are automatically installed, so it's easier to set up and get going with that. And we have a new feature called continuous packaging. If you wanted to, you could have a continuous package process going nonstop, and that is a repository for Chrome as it comes in, and the FlexApp automated packaging console will pick that up, update out, and you can even push it all the way through to production. And that would be for an application package that you highly trust, but we still recommend the testing phase. But if you wanted to, you could go all the way through production with that. With OAuth, here is what the screen looks like. I mentioned this earlier. Once you log in, and this was just a simple demo with Notepad++, this will work with virtually any Windows application, making them zero trust. You get the end user gets that integration that they are probably already used to with Entra ID, having to authenticate with anything that they need to authenticate with, in this case, any application. And then it pops up, they get a login successful notice there in the splash screen, and they're off and running. And that'll help you out on compliance. That'll also help you out on these highly portable apps, giving you control over them too.
Jason, we did have a question. Do you want to take a question?
Yep.
Okay. How is the isolation concerning programs? Suppose you have an Azure Virtual Desktop with a certain Java version, but you have a program which needs another Java version. How does this work with FlexApp?
This is a good question. So in the case of Java, we're going to default back to whatever version of Java is already installed on that machine, embedded as a requirement, or was installed as part of the process of packaging up that app. And in the case of Java, you would only have one version of Java running at a time. So there's a couple of ways that we can handle this. We can deactivate the app once it's over and the user's using a different app, but we don't isolate. If you want to isolate, you need to look at isolation, fully isolated technologies, and those like AppV and MSIX is starting to delve into that realm. So we can handle it with some automated rules to keep you from running more than one package of Java, because we can make that part of the package, part of the FlexApp package. And then when you go on to the other application that requires a different version of Java, it would be running its own. Good question.
Thank you.
So now I'm going to turn things over to James. Do we have any other poll questions we want to ask here? Or those are a little further off?
I think so.
All right. James, give us our command control update, please.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jason. Yeah, it's been a really exciting time. Obviously, most people, I think, at this stage are aware we launched Command Control at VM Explore in Las Vegas on the 21st of August. So for those who are not aware, what is Command Control? It's a SaaS-based real-time remediation software. It allows you to manage any Windows or Mac workspace, and all you need is an agent installed on that particular endpoint. It's all of the controls and all the metrics are pushed through to our SaaS console. So, you know, we have a whole load of different features which I can show you here. So before we get into the features, let's just talk about a few things that has happened with Command Control since launch. So I mentioned that we launched at VM Explore in Las Vegas. Well, we were very lucky to be a finalist in the multi-cloud and app modernization category. So that was, you know, given we only launched that week, that was a major achievement. We also then were featured by Redmond Magazine as in the category of Windows endpoint security and threat intelligence. So that's you know, an award from the Microsoft community. So it just shows that, you know, the innovation that we're putting into Command Control is being recognized throughout the industry. So if we're talking about features, as I said real-time remediation. So real-time is the key phrase when it comes to command control. So, you know, what we do is we collect metrics every 3 seconds. They are displayed instantaneously on our console. And what you'll see is all the different metrics, the ones you'd expect: CPU, RAM, disk, processes, internet provider. Then we've got remediations. So the whole point of command control as a solution is that you can resolve an issue without having to initiate a remote session. Now, we have the capability to initiate remote sessions, but that should be your last point of call. So looking deeper at command control, I want to talk about a couple of our key innovations. So one of the key innovations of command control is our DVR playback mode. So as I said, we're very focused on real time with command control, but one of the features is we gather data for up to 7 days. And what we allow you to do is to go back into that data. So say a user says, on this particular date, at this particular time, I had this incident. Well, you can go back and you can push the console essentially back to that point in time. And then you will get all of the metrics for that particular point in time. And that just helps in aiding that whole troubleshooting process. And it essentially reduces your time to resolution. So switch is another innovation within command control. And what this is it's creating an end-to-end association between your cloud desktop and your local endpoint. And why would you want to do that? Well, it makes it easier from a troubleshooting perspective. So what you can be doing is displaying all the metrics for your cloud desktop, and you're trying to resolve an issue, but you want to see what's happening on that. You want to see what's happening on that endpoint. Well, using our switch functionality, it opens up another tab, and what you've got is all of that information for your endpoint, and it has the association because it is displaying the display driver metrics from the cloud desktop. And that's another innovation we call protocol mirroring. So we're taking the display adapter metrics and we're pushing them down to the endpoint so you can check side by side what's going on. So just to finish in terms of our innovations, everyone knows AI is the thing at the moment, and command control has ChatGPT integration. So what we do with our integration is essentially we have a task manager like function within command control. It displays all of the processes that are running on that particular machine. But as you know, you can have a list of all these processes and you're not sure what one of them is. Maybe it's rogue, maybe it's just you don't understand what it is. Well, there's a little ChatGPT icon beside that process. You click on that, it then gives you the name of the process, the manufacturer of that process, and a detailed description. So quickly, without having to go off and do a Google search, potentially, you could land on a site which actually could end up having malware put on your machine by downloading something you shouldn't have. So it just eliminates all that kind of manual searching, and it gives you that information straight away. And the great thing about this is we take all the queries, and because we're a SaaS product, we gather all the data across all tenants, and then it's available. So then you have to utilize less ChatGPT credits for your searches. So these are just for the key innovations around ChatGPT, around command control. So this is just to give you an example of, this is our new command control interface. As you can see, all of your tasks, diagnostics are down the side, and then your information is displayed. Here you have your system information, you've got your location, and as you can see, this screen here is lit up, which means there's an issue with the display protocol. And then you can see your RAM, that there's something going on there as well. So it just gives you all the information straight in front of you, so you're able to kind of troubleshoot and diagnose and remediate an issue. So further, we can look a bit further at that. So obviously one of the key things of something that remediates is the ability to run scripts. Well, you can absolutely run scripts with command control. Here we have a PowerShell window. You are connected through to that machine. You can run any PowerShell command you want. And again, this is all done seamlessly from the console, no impact on the end user or anything like that. So, and then as I said, we have a series of remediations built in, so you can do things like, if you think about things like, everyone is working essentially from anywhere. So, that end user Wi-Fi connection has become an extension of the corporate WAN. So you can do diagnostics on that, and you can determine if maybe there's an issue with, they're too far from their Wi-Fi connection. Their Wi-Fi connection is not strong enough. All those kind of things. You can do trace routes, you can do pings, all of this kind of different things you have the ability to do just from the console without, as I said, initiating a remote session. And as I said, here's our diagnostics. As you can see, you can do a speed test, you can do a ping, you can even pull in the group policies, all of these kind of metrics. You can even get the diagnostics and pull in the logs from our agent if there's any issues with our agent, which are then downloadable. So those are just some of the diagnostics we have and just some of the features. And as I said, this is version 1 of Command Control. It only launched in August this year, so there's lots to come in 2024. So if you want to get started, you can sign up for our community edition. It's a 5-machine limit. You get 24 hours of history, and all of the features are included. But at the moment, if you sign up, we will actually give you 50 machines. So all you have to do is go to the link below, sign up. Once I see you've signed up, I can then increase that to 50, and then you can play around with it. So we really want you guys to all have a look at it and give us your feedback on it. So that's it.
James, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Go on.
Okay, how do we prove to our security teams we aren't putting the corporation at risk as users have customers' data on the screens?
We don't, okay, so we don't even, as I said, we don't initiate remote sessions. So all we take is the metrics from the end user's computer. So if you take our DVR playback, it is only displaying metrics. We're never interacting with the screen. So it would only be if you have to initiate a remote session that the admin would see the screen, but that would be the same as any other tool. But 90%, 95% of the time, we don't want you to initiate a remote session. Everything should be done through the console where you have no impact or view of the end user desktop.
Great. Thank you for clarifying. Okay.
No problem. Signing up for the community edition is, and to try it out is, this is a great time to do it. We may at some point grandfather you in if you're early enough in this process to where you continue to have the community edition in place. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the sooner you sign up, the earlier you'll be grandfathered in if we limit the licenses at any point. You'll get that 5-machine limit to be able to support friends and family. It'll give you a great working trial of what it can do in your organization. It gives you the 24-hour history. So there's a lot of things you can accomplish with it. So I highly recommend that you jot this URL down, or we'll paste it into the screen, and you try to follow up on it as soon as you can, perhaps even today.
Yep, indeed.
Thanks, James. I think we're on to Stratusphere UX. Chris Walker. Chris Walker's been with us since some of the first years of Liquidware, and he is our resident expert with Stratusphere UX. He really, anybody that's got an enterprise deployment of Stratusphere UX, that's a customer of Liquidware, probably knows Chris Walker. So we're happy to have him delivering the Stratusphere UX update.
Yeah, what that means is subject matter expert is I know how to spell stratosphere correctly. So, yep. All right, let's get started. So we've got a lot of stuff going on with Stratusphere this year. New innovations, new screens coming out, a lot of development in the background that you guys have been able to see a little bit in the current product. So we released 6.6.2 back in March of this year, and in that there was some OS security updates, Mac and Windows updates for our agents, and a new preview section. So if you're an admin of Stratusphere, you're able to go to the preview and actually see the next 7.0 interface that we're working on right now. So that allowed our customers to provide us feedback. So we're having calls with a lot of our large customers. What do you want to see? Hey, we're doing this stuff over here with Command Control. Well, command control, we wanted to share that technology as well with Stratusphere. So all the new technology and dashboards that are being built in Stratusphere is actually written in the Angular language, just like command control. So now we can share modules between the two products. Our development team is much more efficient. ProfileUnity will eventually also be rewritten, the console in Angular as well. There was a hot fix that came out as well for 662-4, which our healthcare customers really loved. USB devices. So think about your smart badge readers, your power mics, things like that, to be able to inventory and have immediate access to where all of those devices are, mainly for inventory purposes. BIOS version, product ID, all of that information is now collected with 662-4. That came out in June based on a client request. Same thing with our login breakdown. We updated that based on the customer saying, hey, here's a couple more metrics. Can you go and grab this? We QA'd both of those. Within 30 days, had a new version of the agent available to them, and then released it to also to everybody else. Now, 662-4 does also have some security updates. So those of you that are security conscious, please apply 662-4 from support, because it does patch the OS and the Apache as well for some known vulnerabilities to the operating system. So very stable release in 662. Also, because of the updates in 662, we upgraded our ServiceNow integration for the latest version as well for ServiceNow to 1.6 in July of 2023. And we also had a partner that's even written an extension on top of this. So yes, our partners and our customers are actually going and taking our base integration kit and adding more features to it. So very excited to hear more about what they're doing. Next slide. We've done a huge amount with Power BI because our customers are like, I need to integrate this data with other platforms. I needed to read from Active Directory. I needed to hook up to my firewalls. So we've been able to take that data and import it into Power BI, given executive level dashboards, security updates. One of my customers down in Florida, they actually poll Stratusphere on an hourly basis for your firewall status, are the AV programs running, all of that stuff. Is there secure boot enabled? All of that security type information. If you turn off your firewall, it immediately reports that to ServiceNow, opens a ticket, and you get a phone call. That's the type of automation that we've done with some of our customers. So a lot of work around Power BI. That customer was within Tableau. I've done Splunk integration. You just saw the ServiceNow. Really, with our open API, we can connect to anything. So it's just a matter of telling that platform, here's the API string to go and get that data. Next slide. Help desk interface, tactical interfaces. Thomas has built a lot of different interfaces. And a lot of times I'll get with customers and they'll ask me, hey, I want to do this. And what I do is I have them sit down with Thomas, show them 10 or 15 different examples, and they say, yeah, I like that one. He gives you the template, you point it to your Stratusphere system, you're off and running. It's literally that simple. Thomas can also help you with other modifications, but he's got hundreds of dashboard examples that can solve a lot of things because he's been doing this 3 or 4 years now with Power BI. So he's built up a pretty good library of different things that customers have asked for. Next slide. Executive view, basically giving me an executive view, tactical view, however, whatever type views I'm looking for. We've built a lot of them in Power BI. Next. Process optimization. We actually came out with this one last year. This is a Power BI report. Process optimization has been around for, I think, like 5 years now. A very solid technology, extends the life of your physical equipment anywhere up 6 to 18 months by optimizing all those little running processes in the background that are chewing up your CPU and causing your Microsoft Teams to run slow. But we could never prove it. So Thomas, being a really good math guy, went in and started looking at some of the key features. So with and without Optimizer running in your environment, and he built this Power BI to show the impact of that. So how did it affect my density in Azure? How did it affect my CPU queue, my swapping, my page file? So by engaging optimization, we're seeing some pretty good effects in the physical and even in the virtual environment. I had several large customers that are running 2 CPUs on Windows 10. The user really needs 3 CPUs. They engage Optimizer, and all of a sudden, that user's like, wow, thanks for the extra CPU cycles. The Process Optimizer has been very beneficial for a lot of our customers, and it's a checkbox inside of Stratusphere. No extra licenses. It's just a simple checkbox. Next slide. Let's talk about what's coming right around the corner in Q1 Stratusphere 6.7. This is what you're looking at in 6.6.2 as the preview. So user interface updates, it's currently in preview mode, and in the preview mode of 6.7, you'll be able to see the 7.0 interface. So we're actually there in 6.7, there's some new dashboards for allowing me to look at better data inside the system, easier data, a thing called individual views, which is mocked up based on command control. Type in a user, type in a machine, hit go, show me all the little tabs just like command control. A wizard that walks you through the interface. So the first time you log in, and you've got this wizard that actually walks you through and tells you, press this button if you want to change the date, press this button if you want to change the users and the machines. Here's your customization. That was borrowed from command control. So again, our technologies are being wrapped together. So in our 6.7 interface, hopefully at the end of January, 1st of February, some new user interfaces for you. Log off breakdown. We've been doing boot and log on for several years. Now we're doing log off because we need to know that data. How is the FS Logics or Profile Disk or ProfileUnity reacting during my log off? Zombied and orphaned processes. Guess what? They're everywhere. You know, a zombie apocalypse, it's just a TV show, no big deal, right? Zombied and orphaned processes are everywhere in Windows. Now, my developers say, we're not going to let you do anything about it. We're not going to let you kill these processes because my developer says that's very dangerous. But at least now I can identify this process, this was a zombied or orphaned process, came from this program, and I'm seeing it eating up this amount of memory across my environment. Now I can go back to the manufacturer and at least see how much impact is put on my environment and do something instead of just having, I think I have a memory leak here, but I can't find it. This will help you very much in that. Digital employee experience, you're actually going to be able to ask the user questions. So more beyond Stratusphere UX empirical data, I can see your CPU, your memory, your disk latency, your display latency, all that. Now I can actually ask the end user. Jason Smith, how is your access today inside of Outlook? Oh, you say you had a bad experience. Can you tell me what time? So follow-up questions. This is our first delve into really user sentiment. I wouldn't call it digital employee experience as much as user sentiment part of digital employee experience, because we've been doing digital employee experience for 15 years with a UX score system. This is the sentiment part where I actually ask the user, how is your experience today in the Azure platform? And you say yes, no, maybe, good, fair, poor. If you say poor, ask them a follow-up question. You can control how often that is done. Last one, and one people have asked for a lot, machine inventory or internet connectivity. So basically a speed test. Now you don't want to run this all the time because yes, it will kill your machines. So you can schedule how often it runs, every 4 hours, only on a certain number of machines. Customers have already asked, hey, can you do a speed test to my data center? I really don't care about speedtest.net that's in the same city. I want to know about speed test from Alpharetta, Georgia to Chicago in my data center. So we've already started looking at how can we provide that to our customers as well. Next slide.
I think that we've got a poll question to pop in here. Now that we know the current versions, we're going to keep going with what's new in Stratusphere and expand on 6.7 or what's coming soon.
Yep.
This poll question, Kristen.
Have you installed the latest updates for your Liquidware solutions? Yes or no?
And we wouldn't see 6.7 as an update yet, so not counting that one. But in ProfileUnity, you have the alerts in there, so you know if an update's pending. I told you about 6.8.6. And in Stratusphere,
6.6.2-4, yep, mainly security. There's a lot of stuff going on in this crazy world right now, so keeping your product compliant as well. It's a big reason to keep your upgraded and the new features.
Okay, looks like we've got most of the people in that are going to vote, and we have no
Wow.
78% versus
No.
22% that have.
Yep. New Year's resolution for everyone. Yes. Yes.
Good call.
Yep.
Make a list, check it twice.
Yep. Next slide. 670 is also adding Nutanix Frame remote display support. So we'll be able to, or Dizion Frame now, not Nutanix. So we'll be able to monitor their display protocol from the virtual machine to the end user, the same way we do right now with ICA, PC over IP, BLAST, RFX, RDP. We're adding a new protocol to be able to do that. We've supported for a long time the GPUs. So now we're adding another flavor of GPUs from AMD to be able to get more statistics from them as well. SMTP relay server authentication, not a big deal. RSA two-factor authentication in our interface. And Firefox, if any user of Stratusphere has seen where we can monitor the different browsers, Chrome, Edge, the different browsers, and it's always said Firefox coming soon. It's finally here. So yes, in 6.7, we'll have a plugin for Firefox to show you per tab how much CPU utilization, the URL, all that stuff. So coming soon, it's finally here. Next slide. Log off breakdown, okay? So why is this important? Normally, a user on a virtual machine, a lot of times they'll disconnect before they even see the log off. The Citrix or Horizon will automatically disconnect them. But we need to know how long did it take to synchronize the data on the backside. How is the profile disk, whether it's ours or FS Logic's, how did it react? And basically getting that log off data so that user can then turn around and log back in very fast. A lot of times in VDI infrastructures, people have to wait 5 minutes before they can log back in. If they don't know that, they won't get their profile disk. This will help you optimize that log off procedure and what's happening during that process. Next slide. Digital links for experience. We kind of talked about this. Running out of time. So, yep. We've been doing DEX for 15 years, like I said. This is the sentiment side. So again, asking the user, what did they think? How did they feel? What was going on in their particular session today? Not going to annoy the user. You only ask it every so often. It's tracked inside of Stratusphere. Good for smiley faces. You can even put your logo in there. So it's not Liquidware or Stratusphere asking it. It's actually your company logo asking, hey, how was your experience in this platform or with this application today? Next slide.
That's a screenshot of it where it'll show up.
Yep, down on the system tray on the bottom right-hand side. So it's just going to be a little pop-up where the user can select see if it'll play next. Should actually show an example. There we go. Yep. So it shows, basically they said smiley faces. How would you rank your experience? And this is a sentiment. So it's not the CPU memory disk and network. We're already tracking that with this UX score. This is the sentiment of the user. I will always give you a failing process because my computer is never fast enough. So you should probably throw out my responses anyway. Yep. A reply, so you can actually put in free text as well to give them more details. Multiple levels of questions and response types in our digital sentiment section.
We didn't do this as a poll question. I probably should have put this in there, but I'd be interested if in the chat window if anybody has thoughts on this. I'd like us to have some feedback in the chat window or any questions about it. Is this something that your organization would use? Is this something that your organization would never use? Is this something you've been waiting for? Is it something that you think is neat? Something like that. If you just some feedback, if you give it to us, we appreciate it in the chat window.
Yeah. If you're already doing it, are you already doing it?
Yep.
Machine internet connectivity. This goes back to the speed test. So basically, a speed test from that device in the field. So it could be a VDI machine, it could be a iGel box, any of those machines sitting in the field with a Stratusphere agent. I need to do a speed test so I know about your default gateway. What's the latency of my default gateway? My DNS servers, in my house, at my office, things like that, tracking that data. Interestingly enough, CommandCTRL already did that. We stole the technology from CommandCTRL, pasted it into Stratusphere, and we're off and running. So we're sharing more technology, so the development of both products is really going to go through the roof next year. Next. Enhanced UI. So in 6.7, you're going to see a new enhanced. If you notice around the top left-hand side, we've refactored a lot of the menus and where they sit. This screen right here is also written in Angular language. So this is the start of our 7.0 interface. So when you log into Stratusphere UX in 6.7, coming out in just hopefully next month, you will be faced with this interface, a summary interface. This is GUI based. So prior to this, we gave you a search screen, or you would go to our advanced inspectors and have hundreds of metrics sitting in front of you. Now I can click and drill through this information and find out at a high level with very fast, these queries have been refactored to make them very fast for large platforms. So now I can click in user experience. It'll take me to CPU utilization. What's driving my CPU utilization? Look, it's the number of monitors. It's the people with slow processors that are having a problem with this issue. So I've got a lot of people with a poor ranking, and I can see it here on the high level. And then a workflow allows you to drill into it, but not with numbers, with graphics, giving you the visualization so more people can actually use the product. I'm very good at it at Stratusphere. I love numbers. Turn off the graphics, give me the data, but that's not the way most people are. Jason and James are very graphic-oriented people. They like graphs, charts, things like that, and that will help a lot of people be able to use Stratusphere to navigate to that issue. So in here, in the new UI, you're going to have the summary and resources, the individual inspector, and the rewrite, what's called the detailed inspector, which is the rewrite of the advanced inspector. But all of your previous technology, the advanced inspector, you can see it's still up there, so you can go right to that. A lot of good things coming, but when you switch to the preview, that's our 7.0 interface, and it has all these new screens in it too. But a left-hand side navigation to look like CommandCTRL and ProfileUnity. So 6.7 has a facelift with a lot of new technology, as well as some new screens that allow it to be better utilized by more people.
Great updates. Kristen, do we have any questions or poll or anything going on there?
We've had a couple of just comments, pretty much one that says it would be good if this could integrate with ServiceNow so an engineer can review all the data as part of the ticket. And then two, likely would not use it. I don't know if our users would provide useful feedback about the system and instead give feedback about unrelated things. Think of the commercial where the lady is asked if she has any food allergies and she replies, well, my teeth are sensitive to cold. Which is such a great commercial, right? It's the one where you're not supposed to act like your parents.
Yep.
I love that feedback.
Yeah, so Stratusphere does have a base integration kit for ServiceNow, which I did update this year. And any metric that's available in the database or via the API is available to ServiceNow. So anything we've talked about today, the base integration kit, it's relatively inexpensive. All of that data, any of the data that you want can be pulled into ServiceNow, Remedy, ticketing system, pretty much anything, but we do have a specific integration built just for ServiceNow.
The user sentiment is funny because quite honestly, it's a checkbox for Stratusphere. Some of the, at least one analyst group that we all know said that, their digital experience products should have user sentiment feedback. So you get the checkbox or not. We've heard from customers over the years that it would be neat if we could do this and give this feedback. But we've also heard from customers that say, I don't think I would use that, or that might be annoying, or we don't want to hear that much from users. The Stratusphere automates the process, anyway, and gives you that UX score. So you already have a really good feeling of it. User sentiment, of course, is optional. And we're excited to have it in there as a checkbox. We're excited to have it for the customers that would like to use it or try to use it and see if it's something of value. But we'd like feedback on it too. So as soon as you update to 6.7, give it a try. We'd encourage you to if you wish, and let us know what you think.
I asked a question the other day to the developers. Could I use my user sentiment to ask what your opinion was of Jason Smith? Jason thought that would be, that'd be a good question to ask all the people in the company right through Stratusphere. What do you guys think about Jason Smith? Give him a ranking.
Might not want to know. I might not want to know.
Yep.
When I ask my family, you what do you think about me? You're going to get mixed answers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. James, would you like to tell us what's going on with the community these days?
Oh, hang on.
Maybe muted.
Okay.
James, you're off mute.
Just two quick updates to finish. Let's go with community. So we launched our new Slack community in August. Currently at approximately 150 members, and we're growing. The great thing about community is we're going to give you exclusive content. Some is actually going to drop in the next 30 minutes. So if you want to, you can find access to our community on our website, but it gives you access to all the Liquidware staff. I've seen responses from David Benneman, our CEO, Jason Maddox, our CTO, Jason has been on there, Chris has been on there. So if you have any questions about anything Liquidware related, or you want to kind of get the latest information from us or other community and just grow your community or in your network, it's well worth signing up. So as I said, I'm dropping some content in the next 30 minutes, which I think would be really interesting to everyone. So I'd advise everyone to sign up.
Once you're in Slack, how do you find us?
Sorry?
Once you're in Slack, well, if you're already a Slack user, maybe you use it for Citrix, maybe use it for VMware because those communities are on there, or iGel's on there. How do you find and become part of the Liquidware community? Is there a keyword that you need to search?
If you go to the website and click on the community link, you can get access straight away.
Great.
Okay, just one more thing. Again, earlier this year, in April of this year, we launched the Liquidware Chats podcast. It's been really interesting. We've had some great guests on, and as I said, we have had about 8 episodes, and we've interviewed all these different people listed here from across the industry. We've got some vendors, we've got some community people. So we've got 1 episode to go, and that episode is very special as we have nearly an hour-long interview with none other than our CEO, David Benneman. So you really don't want to miss that. And as I said, there's your surprise. This is the content that is going to be dropped on our community in the next 30 minutes. So if you want to hear David's views on how Liquidware was founded and how it developed, and also what we're going to do in the future with what could it possibly be with AI. If you want to know what David's insights are on that, you really want to listen to this podcast episode. The full episode will be available on all the usual social platforms come Monday, but this is going exclusively on community today. So thanks very much.
Our customer support options continue to evolve. You'll see a few new things in the portal here. We changed over when we went to Slack for the community. We had another community online that we closed down in favor of Slack because it has gained such momentum in the industry. Like I said, Citrix and VMware are on there. So we didn't want to lose the goodwill of our community in there. It had a lot of how-to articles or the drill down articles. So you'll see over there on the right hand side, SE field articles. And those were things contributed by our own staff and experts like Chris Walker. Those did not get lost. Those are in there, and they show up as in a similar area of our dedicated area of our knowledge base. So just keep that in mind too. None of that goodwill was lost as we moved to the bigger Slack community to grow our community in that way. And we continue to get great reviews with our support in the industry. We have a satisfaction rating of over 98%, and that's been ongoing since 2016. It's been extremely high of resolving support cases. Additional support options are available. If you don't have 24/7, you may not need it, but know that that's out there. And we continue to make sure that we have some of the best support staff on with an average of 6 years experience in the industry that are answering those phone calls and emails. We have questions in there, but we also have an opportunity for you to evaluate FlexApp 1. If you've not looked at FlexApp 1, you can go to this URL and you can download packages already to double click and run on your laptop. I mean, while you're drinking a cup of coffee, you could be launching a FlexApp application right now. So it's an interesting and easy way to try out FlexApp. If you would like more information about how you could get one of these coffee cups that you see here, you can send us an email at sales@liquidware.com. We'll make sure that we get you a kit out for that. But we'd like you to try FlexApp as part of that. So go to this URL. It's not going to get you the coffee cup. Try out FlexApp and then send us an email to sales or info@liquidware.com. We'll send you a coffee cup if you request one there.
It's in the chat feature as well.
Great. So you can trial any of our solutions by going to our website, making sure you also have the latest versions out there. If you're not a customer or of one of the solutions you saw today, there's trial versions out there that are limited only in the number of days that you can run them. So they're fully functioning in that regard. Be glad to take any additional questions, or if we had a poll question left.
We do have one question. Where can I find more information about instructor-led classroom product training?
Good question. We have some new things coming out in January, so stay tuned, especially on the FlexApp front. And if you would like one-on-one training, which is the way that we've handled that to date, send us an email also to info@liquidware.com. And we'll be glad to make sure that you get the training that you need for you and your staff on one or more of our solution sets. But we do have FlexApp workshop, hands-on workshop training coming very soon if it's about FlexApp.
Great. I think that was the only question we had at this point.
Wonderful. Kristen, any
Great.
housekeeping?
Let's see. So thank you for attending today. You will receive an email within a couple of business days with a link to the recording that you can review or share with a colleague. I want to thank Jason Smith, Chris Walker, and James O'Regan for joining us today. And we want to wish everyone a very happy holiday season. Happy New Year.
Great.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.